Oh, hey. Welcome to the Whiskey Edition. My name is Rob. And tonight, what a mess. We're going to do a couple weird things. We're going to go through the Fall Haul, which I believe is the title of this, the Fall Haul 2023 from Whiskey Edition. And then we're going to tack on the end of that a Whiskey Edition Hawaiian-themed sampling of a few bottles that I've had from distilleries in Hawaii that you can't get here. So I'm going to tack that on the end, because if I tacked it on the front, I'd never get through this disaster of the Fall Haul 2023. In addition, I was talking to a guy at a liquor store who was a distributor guy, and I told him the name Whiskey Edition. He thought, oh, that's an interesting name, ADDITION. I'm like edition as in times plus minus edition? No, as in edition like the newspaper. And he goes, oh, okay. And I go, wait a minute though. Edition is actually a pretty good name. So I do have a side channel now called the Whiskey Edition, and that is probably more appropriate for a fall haul or any kind of a haul video where you're adding to your what is now becoming a very obnoxious collection. But in the spirit, so to speak, of Marvin over at Whiskey Wine 101, I'm going to supplement this fall haul with, I believe, the winner, from my standpoint, of the Fred Minnick 100 from last year, the Smooth Ambler Contradiction Rye. I found this to be just fantastic. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this to have even before the Hawaiian drinks. Hopefully I can get that far. If not, I'll just tack it on later. So I'll put this off to the side. That Contradiction Rye, it's just so good. Love it. I've got here, where you can't see, is the spreadsheet of all of the inventory. And I've put in here, since it's going to be a little more than fall, but I did lop off June and July, so it's August to now, and it's out of control. So starting off, I'm just going top to bottom, because I don't have them ordered by when I bought them, which is probably not great. That's why I need to do this more often. But towards the end, anyway. Sometime in September, I picked up, stopping by the local store, Jack Daniel's Twice Barrel Special Release Tennessee Rye. So I was able to pick up one of those. I guess I can put it up here. What was the next one I picked up? A Bonded Rye. I just got this one at Total Wine so I could kind of compare it to all the other ryes. And then I went through Duty Free, coming out of, where did I come out of? Charles de Gaulle. And I picked up the Jack Daniel's Single Malt at Duty Free. And I believe finished in Oloroso sherry cask. So I've heard this is a real hit. And so I'm very excited to have that one in the inventory now. Next was where did I put the little book? I did pick up a little book. This is little book 10, no, chapter 7. It says 10 on the tag, so that's something different. 2023, so the store down the street had this on the shelf at a reasonable price. When did I put it in? $136. I thought, well, no, I'm a liar. I didn't get this in the liquor store down the street. I got this. This is going to be a disaster, folks. I got this at what's Rum Runners in Tucson, liquor store down there. So that's why it was a lot cheaper than if it had been here. So it was stickered at $125 and then a little bit of tax on there, not compared to here. Well, and everybody's been looking for Russell's 13. I was able to get this at the local liquor store. Not sure how. I think they said, hey, have we got something for you? And I said, hey, I don't even want to know how much, but put it in my bucket. Next up, I did get, just recently, 2, but they had more, so it's not like I cleaned about, 2 Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923s. So I got these 2 going for me now. So I'll either have a backup or easier to trade off with somebody. Those are below, and at the store down the street, everything that is marked way up, pricing by Paul, those are just in the lock cabinet at Elijah Craig PV. Anyway, I got an Elijah Craig private barrel, not PV, private barrel in Wichita, of all places. So that's here in the pile somewhere. I was able to pick up locally though, the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Ryder Cup Limited Edition. So whenever I go out on a boat in the Puget Sound, I can take this along and we can have Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel Official Bourbon of the Ryder Cup. Wait a second. That's golf, that's not boating. Ah, shoot. Whenever I go golfing, maybe to a Total Top, what do they call that? Total Wine near there has a Top Golf. They probably wouldn't let you bring it in. But wherever it is and wherever we're doing a Ryder Cup golfing type thing, this was the pickup of the century here. Old Fitz 10-year. Just walked in and it was on the shelf. I said, hey, how much is that bottle in the window? And he looks it up and he says, it's $185. And I said, no, that's not right. That is not right for here. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Are you sure you're sure? Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's what it's at. I'm like, well, it's mine. So I got this cool decanter, though I have heard the 10 is, oh, in a box. I like the ones in the boxes because I think they're pretty cool. So this is the Pendleton's Director. It's in this pretty fancy box. I think it's in honor of the Pendleton Roundup, which is out of Oregon, but we all know this is Canadian. So somebody recommended this to me at the Total Wine. That wasn't a Total Wine employee. They were just in there and he goes, oh, they've got that. It's really good. You should get it. It's 20-year. So why not? Picked it up. It was a good price. So I got that going for me. A Weller 12. This is kind of a neat, a Weller 12 in a box. And it's not just the box. I'll open it. I'll show you that it's not just the box. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Pretty fancy box. So here's a Weller 12 from La Maison de Whiskey in downtown Paris. And I think, yes, here is a Weller 12 from the supermarket down the street. They would appear to be the same. However, the one from France, 700 milliliters, 750 milliliters from here. So I've got one of each. I don't think I'll be doing a taste off of whether the 50 milliliters makes that big of a difference. I've heard stories that all of them are going to be going to 700s. Everybody's going to go to 700s. So I got a full proof down the street at the supermarket, and I got a couple full proofs at the Rum Runners Tucson. It's got a sticker. This one has not story behind it, but it's one of those things where you want to chat up the people at the stores. And I said I was looking for this, looking for that, and he goes, well, we have a barrel of Weller coming. So what do you mean a barrel of Weller? Well, we bought a barrel and the other half of it is going to be delivered today. I was like, can I get a bottle, put my name on it so I can come back? And he goes, sure. So that was, unusual. I go, well, how much are they? And he says like $60 or 55 or whatever. I'm like, can I get two? He goes, sure. So I go and he has them set aside. And while I'm there, several people came in and asked if there was any left. Thankfully, I had paid for them and taken possession of them. He goes, no, we are all out. And I talked to him some more and he goes, yeah, people are coming in and buying, cases. It's like, ugh. I was trying to not be the super greedy guy, and I thought two was being greedy, and here we are. So now I've got actually a few of them. It'll be interesting to see what the difference between a single barrel pick and the regular foolproof is. One of these days. Where did this come from? Foolproof from the supermarket. Another thing, I was talking to one of the liquor. Is there not a someone in it? Maybe some I don't know what they are. That works in the liquor area at the supermarket. And I asked, if they had anything. Well, I think we have some Weller coming. Really? Well, maybe I can get. Is there like a list or something? And either he or she or whatever goes, yeah, I can put your name on the list. And so I put my name on it, and I said, well, I'll definitely get this guy and whatever else. And I missed on the CYPB, but I was happy with getting those. So I told you I didn't tell you I was in Paris, but I went through duty free at Paris and walked into a little liquor store, as in the liquor store in Versailles, and real nice guy, and he has, you know, he's got some makers, he's got some Jack, he's got this, and he's got these. Bland's Gold. Sitting on the shelf. He had a few of them. No limit. 115 euro. Imported by La Maison de Whiskey. So you probably can't read that, but there you go. And I am just kind of flabbergasted at the whole bit. And so I buy one. And did I buy one of these? Yeah, I bought one of these, and I bought two. I ended up buying two straight from the barrels. Straight bourbon whiskey, straight from the barrel. Couldn't believe it. Right? These were not 115. I think these were 155 euro. So that whatever the conversion is, they were not. It was just a little bit more. I think it was 1.09 or something. It wasn't like pounds or a lot more conversion rate. So two straight from the barrels, a gold, and I'm just flabbergasted. Another buddy that was with me, he got two of the others, and we left a couple there. And he said, yeah, this time we got 5 or 6 golds, we got 3 straight from the barrels, and because it hit just after tourist season, didn't quite clean them out, but pretty close, because that's just not something you see every day. Also, when I'm down in Tucson, I pick up the Benchmark series, bonded, single barrel and top floor. Got these 3 while I was down there, so I can compare them to the other lineup from Buffalo Trace. So got those. And they're cheap. They were like, what did I have them at? 30 bucks a piece, which is unusual. Well, I can't find them up here in the Pacific Northwest. Anyway, I haven't found them. Another, in the box, I had a trade for this. I forgot what I traded for. I think, what did I trade this for? Oh, I think I traded some friends, and I took them a Jack 10 that I was able to get a hold of. So this is a Blood Oath Pack 9, cool box, and they put me up and everything. So while you say that was a horrible trade for a Blood Oath for a Jack 10, they're friends, and you know, I think I'm really happy to be able to help them out, because he's a Jack fan, and I've got a few of those. So I did pre-stage some of these, just not very well. Blue Note Duke Joint Whiskey from hand selected by Central Wine and Spirits out of Kansas, uncut, unfiltered. So I thought that was pretty good. I was able to send my aunt or my mom or somebody after this one, and they were able to get me one. And that's tough there, because when they get their kind of local pick drops, people line up for them, and she was able to get that for me. Whiskey rye mash, square bottle, Vashon. Oh, the Mischief Distillery, it's local. I was over on Vashon Island, which is in Puget Sound, and literally in Puget Sound. And I saw this on the shelf. That the guy over there, Andy, he had a lot of great bottles, but I had a lot of them already, and I was on my bike and I couldn't carry a whole bunch, motorbike, not pedal bike, and I saw this Mischief bottle, and I actually called them and said, what is this? And they go, oh, that's our normal blend. It's just in our old bottle. I thought the bottle was pretty epic. I mean, it is tough. So you could really clunk somebody if you wanted to with this guy. So I now have a Mischief High Rye Whiskey to go with the Mischief Storm Tossed Rye, which there's a video somewhere around here on. Let's see. Mark at Northwest Bourbon does a thing called Distiller's Perspective. And on the Distiller's Perspective, he had the guy, I think his name is Jesse from Doc Swenson's. And you know, when somebody is willing to come on a guy's podcast, it's not a big, huge one like, you know, Matt's or Mash and Drum, or, you know, those guys, or Bourbon Junkies, come on and give their input and tell them a little about their distillery, and they're typically local to us. I think that's pretty cool. And so what do? I go out and I start buying, you know, their alter ego Solera method. And then I bought the Lost Nectar X Solera rum cask one that I tried when the guys were down the street at the liquor store. And then I got the Doc Swinson's Bottle and Bond Straight Rye whiskey. Got that guy. So they are blended for the most part. They bring, I think they're mostly MGP, and the rum isn't MGP. The rum is a very odd thing, so we won't talk about the rum. I thought it was interesting, so I got it. But it's nice to be able to support your local distilleries, and when they go on a podcast or a YouTube channel and talk about their product, it makes it a lot easier to go out and buy it and try it. And I think that's pretty neat. And then they were having their distributor go around and give samples out, so that helps too. I got a bottle of Saint's Alley from my sister-in-law, who was here for a month or so. So this was recommended to her, and it's funny. I was just listening to Bourbon Real Talk and going through the. They were going through gifts for Christmas and what to buy and what. And I had it on the background, and one of the things they said is, don't let the guy at the liquor store recommend anything to you. And I didn't listen to it close enough to know why that was. And the guy said, oh yeah, this Saint's Alley is really good and he'll really enjoy this. And I haven't opened it yet, but I will enjoy it because she brought it for me, and it's a Amaronic cask finish. So heard that's really good. So I wasn't able to get, it was Woodinville or somebody's that was finished in Amaronic, Armagnac casks. And I heard they were, you know, really, really good. So we'll have to give that a try. One more out of Wichita. Gunnar is a product of Kansas. I'm not sure where Gunnar is or where it's out of. Kansas bourbon. It's a wheated bourbon, and it's distilled and bottled by Gunnar Bourbon Company in Sedan, Kansas. So that'll be really interesting. It's not sourced, which I thought was pretty cool. And it was recommended by the guy at the liquor store. I don't know if he was trying to clear it off his shelf or what the deal was, but I thought that's pretty funny actually. Another thing that came out of Kansas, because I hadn't seen it out here, which is probably for the best, is Alan Jackson's Silver Belly Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Picked this up at a local liquor store near my mom. And that's the other thing, you know, it's, what do they call that, cherry picking? Going into the liquor stores, you know, near your parents or near your family or whatever. So you show up every once in a while and say, hey, where's all your good stuff? And I know that's, you know, that's a little tough to do, and trying to be, you know, garner some amount of grace with them if they are to have anything, you know, in the back or in the front or whatever. This is probably not the best bottle to buy, but it's something that I haven't seen around here, and it'll go good with the Whiskeys of Rock Stars segment soon to come on the Whiskey Edition channel, or maybe not the Edition channel. This is all additional to the pile. What else? I got this bottle called Farmland. Town at the End of Tomorrow. So Farmland Spirits, it's out of California, started by a couple guys, and their distributor was up at the local liquor store, aged 9 years. I think it's MGP, 9 years. Let's see. Small batch, 78 corn, 13 rye. So they have all the data, which is nice. Bottled by, let's see, distilled in Kentucky. Oh, that's right. He goes, I can't tell you where it's distilled. We've got an NDA, but it's somewhere near a place with a bard and a town in it or something like that. So, somewhere in Kentucky is where this came from. And this is one of 600 bottles, so he said, never open it. I said, well, great. So that's another one I'll never open. From the trip to Hawaii last week, I took a tour of the Halei'i it's not Halley-Mail, it's, let's see if I can get this right, Halei'i Maili Distillery. And they use pineapple. And so for their pineapple blended whiskey, a Spirit of Hawaiian Cowboy, the Paniolio, right there. I found what was interesting, probably more so about the tour, and we'll, you know, in the next segment, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But this is a blend, it does say blended, a blend of 3-year Heaven Hill and their 95% distillate and water to proof it down to 80 proof. So I'm sure some people doing some math could figure out what the Heaven Hill came in at and then what the 95%'s at and then proofing it down. But we'll give this a try. It was not too bad at the distillery. That's what's nice. You know, they can give you the little itty bitty cup and all the rules and all that. One other thing, I know I'm not the Curiosity Public guys who do all the different stuff, but if you have a chance to go and pick up a Mahina rum, I thought it was like drinking brown sugar, and it might even have brown sugar in it. But and you can't buy this on the mainland, so I thought, well, I'll pick up this. This isn't available on the mainland, so I'll pick these up. The last thing, which I'm finding hard to believe, is what I got at the Costco today. Oh, I forgot that thing. Yeah, I picked up a Voyage. Criminy. That might have been earlier in the year. Yeah, I think it was earlier in the year. No, it wasn't that early. Shoot. Have I had my shelves load tested? No, I have not. Did I ask? Yes, I did. And she said, oh, they'll be fine. I'm like, all right, well, that's container store shelving. Ryder Cup. What was I thinking? Ryder Cup being a boating thing. Oh, and in all that, there was a Stag 22B, because that's kind of the fall release, I think. So, oh, Brown Family Straight Bourbon Whiskey. They are out of where are they out of? Spokane. Distilled and bottled by Brown Family Spirits, Spokane, Washington. These were on Mark's Northwest Bourbon Distillers perspective, and I thought, well, that's cool. And they also make wine. So here's some wine. I got their bourbon and their wine. So I'm not a wino, so I can't really compare it, but I got it to support them because that's what you do. And now they're everywhere in the Pacific Northwest. I thought they were just local to Spokane, so picked up one of their bottles while I was there. So that falls into the fall haul category, which is great. The last thing, picked it up today. 'Tis the season at the Costco. The Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. It's got 24 or 25, it says 24 world-class whiskey samples, free 1-year Flaviar membership, so I got that going for me, a bespoke leather coaster, and a collectible Glencairn glass. Open this up. Ooh. I haven't opened, I mean, this is the second opening of it. Look at that. That is spectacular. Look at that. That's pretty nice. So it was it was 160 plus all of our ridiculous taxes, because it's still 24 50 milliliter bottles in there. And so I thought, why not? I didn't even realize it came with free 1-year Flaviar membership. That's probably one of those things. Cancel immediately or you'll get charged $1 bazillion, but we'll look into it. But I thought this would be fun. Hopefully I can get to it, because that's a lot of drinking. But I've always wondered about Flaviar, and this is a good way of looking into it. So got the nice box too. What's in the box? So yeah, I think that if that doesn't about do it, it should just about, well, here, I'll show you this guy. I picked up 2 of these at the duty free in Heathrow. I think it was in maybe March or June or something like that. Macallan Harmonies, and you know, I'm all for the deal, and they were a good deal. I thought they were, I don't know if they were like 80, 90 euro or something like that a piece. But it came with a set of Glens. Those damn things are like 30 bucks. So I'm thinking, how can you not do that? So, and I think that was right before they must have changed the import from 1 liter max to whatever that was. That's 1.4 liters, so that was over, but didn't seem to matter that much. You know, there's a couple things that aren't on here that I picked up in Wisconsin. I picked up this Driftless Glen at Woodman's Market. I've heard good things about Driftless Glen. I think that's something that Fred talks about. It's the Driftless Glen. And what's interesting about this bottle is it's got these fingerprints on each side, which must be for the pouring, where you put your fingers. And I also went to a distillery in Milwaukee, Great Lakes Distillery, got the Dirty Helen barrel strength bourbon. And I think I gotta shake this up. The Goodland liquor, coffee liqueur. This is dangerous stuff. It's not even open yet, but it is. Thought Kahlua was good. Oh my gosh. So don't sleep on some of these local distilleries. They can do a lot of fun things. And this is no exception to that. I mean, have to bring it back. You can't get it. Sometimes you can't get it except for in that area. So those are some fun things to do. Do I have any other? I got a couple Macallans. Oh, yeah. I think I was, this should still, another Jack Daniels, and it should still count as the Fall Haul 2023 PX on a military base with my brother-in-law, and wandering around, and they had a bunch of these on the shelf and no limit, and I hadn't seen them, so I figured, and they were like $23. I'm like, I'll take 4. So I brought a few home, left one with him to his surprise, and so, all right, I think that's enough of the Fall Haul 2023. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Like, share, subscribe. Maybe take a look at the, if you're on the Whiskey Edition channel, thank you very much. If you're on Whiskey Edition, thank you very much. This will be over on there, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. It was too good of a name to pass up, so I got both. Anyway, thank you very much, and like I usually say, pour an extra glass because you never know who's gonna be stopping by. It's a rainy mess outside, so that ain't gonna happen, so there's just one. Cheers.